Hello and welcome to Microsoft Hates Greg. My name is Greg Deckler, and today we're going to be talking about disconnected tables. Now, disconnected tables or the disconnected table trick, I think, is a fairly well-known solution, I guess you could say, or trick, or whatever you want to call it. It's fairly well known in the Power BI community, but I think a lot of people that are new to Power BI often, they don't think about this as a solution. So and especially with all of the mantra around must build a star schema, must build a star schema. Having a disconnected table that's not part of the star schema is very weird to a lot of people. But disconnected tables are an extremely powerful and versatile tool that you should always keep in mind when trying to solve certain visualization problems. And this is a case where a disconnected table comes in really handy. So basically, the setup for this is, and this is all in French, which I don't speak a lick of. So, you know, basically, there's a table of all I can tell is that like activities or something that's going on. They have a status or a category. And then, this is what's important for this visual. And then they have a week number. Okay. And what the person wanted out on the community forums was they wanted to have their weeks listed here, and then they wanted a cumulative count of activities in the categories for each week, right? So if they just put this together normally, we're using this fact table here, and they put their status or category in the legend and the date, the week, if you will, in the x-axis, and then what they created was a cumulative they use calculate as far as this is your kind of your normal rolling or running total or cumulative total. You'd see with a calculate, which doesn't tend to work with a single date table. Microsoft's changed updated their quick measure for this actually, which I covered in a previous video, I believe. But so they weren't getting their results. Well, they weren't getting their results not because of the calculate in this case, but because they're missing weeks, right? So you can see that there's gaps in their week. So regardless if you use calculate or not, you're not going to get an answer because for the weeks here, these are fictitious as far as Power BI is concerned. They only appear because the x-axis is set to continuous, right? And setting it to categorical is not going to solve anything, right? Because now they're gone completely. But the problem is that there's nothing that's going to trigger a calculation for these non-existent weeks in the x-axis that you see here. So solution I came up with, there's probably a number of different solutions for this, but one that I came up with is first to create a disconnected table. So I created that disconnected table by grabbing the min of the week number and the max of the week number and incrementing by 1. So as you can see here, now in this table, I have weeks 7 through 20. Okay, and you can see in the model that this table is completely disconnected from the rest of the tables in the data in the semantic model. Okay, so now we can't just use this. We have to basically use this and a new measure that I created. So as you can see in here, we've solved the problem, right? So now we have starts out and we have a cumulative total that comes up here of activities. These appear down here because they didn't have previous activities. So basically it's the combination of in this one, I'm using the volume column from my disconnected table as the x-axis. And then what forms the relationship with the fact table is the actual measure that's created. So instead of having a relationship in the data model, you can actually use a measure to form a relationship between that disconnected table and whatever fact table or other table that you have. And so in this case, I'm grabbing the max of my status or category, whatever it is. I'm grabbing the max of the date from the table, right? From my table that I created, that disconnected table. And then I filter the fact table, all fact table, where the week number is less than or equal to the max, that max date that I calculated, or that max week number, probably should name that better. And where the status is equal to the category, whatever the legend is. Then I count the rows in that table. As you can see, right, it gives me a cumulative total or a running total across all of the weeks because now, because I'm using this disconnected table, these weeks actually exist, right, in the x-axis. They're not just artifacts because the x-axis was set to continuous. So disconnected tables, there's tons of uses for them. Should always keep them in the back of your head when you have some kind of problem that's giving you grief in Power BI. You know, disconnected tables a lot of times turn out to be an answer for that. So that is all I had for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.